Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a 212A, it's a tier 9 Soviet SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Murovanka, and this one is under the command of Mike 1963-1 of REBRN. Okay, game started. Well, I can tell you just by looking at that vehicle that that is the 203mm howitzer, the B4. Yep, it is. 1050 alpha, penetrating 52mm of armor, but it's got an equally long reload time, 32.19 seconds. So it can do a lot of damage, but it does take a little while to reload. But you get a huge amount of ammo to play with, which is quite good because the next Arty, the tier 10 one, the Object 261, you don't get enough ammo. Well, it looks like Mike's going to fire from near the cap. He's just lining himself up, and now he's looking for enemy targets. And the first target he's come across is an Object 705. This is a tier 10 game. He's tier 9 Arty, rounds out, misses the 705. It wasn't fully dialed in by the time he fired, and as a consequence it did miss. It's one of the things I do recommend to all Arty players. You let your Arty dial in on the target before you shoot, because the reticule on some Arty is so big you could miss by 100 meters. Well, in fact, actually, you probably wouldn't miss by 100 meters, but you would miss by enough that you wouldn't do any damage to the vehicle. He fires another round at the 705. This one fell short and hit the ridgeline, but it did stun the 705. Now, these shells will actually have a burst radius of 10.9 meters, so if an enemy tank gets too close, or if you fire one and there's two tanks nearby, you'll do double damage. And he's almost loaded, so these enemy tanks are all grouping together. They're all going to get hit by that shell if they stay together like this. Mike just needs to adjust his aim and rounds out. Ah, he hits the T-30, 468 hit points, and he also got a hit on the UDES for 246, so that shows you these guys should not be bunching together the way they are, because they're going to get badly mauled. Well, Mike's almost loaded again, and looks like he's going to go for that T-30. Lining up the next shot. 2 seconds to go. Here we go. Rounds out. T-30. Splash hit for 203. Stuns the E50M, and the T-30 goes down, so he picks up loads of stun assist. Okay, next target is the 60 TP. That's the tier 10 Polish heavy tank with a wicked 152mm gun. Really tough tanks to bring down, those guys. The Lewandowski go. Okay, he's trying to get a line up on him. He fires the round in, and he takes out the T-49, who gets in the way. That was a complete fluke. That T-49 just drove through the field of fire. It was Jar Jar Binks. I don't know if he's a Unicum player or not, but with a name like that, well, he just drove straight through the field of fire, took the shell for the 60 TP, and got wiped out in the process. But unfortunately, now Mike is the next tank in line in front of those guys, and they're going to get here very shortly. So Mike needs to skedaddle to the west as fast as he can possibly carry him. And unfortunately, this tank is built on the hull of the KV-220, so it's basically a heavy tank in disguise. Well, at least it would have been if they'd actually built this Arty. They never got around to building it. It's a bit slow. Faster than some though, faster than the GW Tiger P, but he needs to get as far west as he can to avoid being hit. And he's making his way past his... Oh, you run into your teammate there, and he's knocking trees down as he goes as well. Yeah, try to avoid your teammates, because that rather annoys them. If they've just lined up a shot and you run into the side of them, I think they won't forgive you for that. But he managed to get away, which is good. Unfortunately, he did leave a trail of trees behind him, which might give the enemy a clue as to where he's gone. But it looks like the enemy has lost a number of tanks coming out of the forest. In fact, it looks like they moved directly west. And you can see that Mike just fired a round in at 705. He didn't get an explosion, so he did hit the target. There's the 705 he hit. You can see he's still stunned. And you can see where it hit. It hit on the on the left side of the vehicle as we're looking at it right now. And he's almost loaded, so he might be able to get another shot at that 705. Here we go. Rounds out straight away. Another direct hit. 382 this time on the other side of the vehicle. Okay, a standard B has appeared very close to the cap and very close to Mike, so if he fires right now he will probably get spotted. The standard B's been wiped out and Mike's relocating further west, but again he knocked a tree over in the process. Try not to give the enemy Arty any clue as to where you are, because if they can see a tree go down they might want to fire a shell at that direction just to see if there's something they can hit. And he's now up against the side of the map. Okay, he's got a T95, the Doom Turtle, dialing in. It's got a long aim time. He fired the round in without it being fully dialed in. He just winged the T95. Okay, he's following the target. The good thing is he's firing at the rear of that T95, and that's where the fuel tanks are. Those rectangular objects at the rear of the thing, that's the fuel tanks. If he can puncture those, then he might actually set fire to the thing. He might actually blow it up. Fires around at the 60 TP, gets a hit. 336. I think that round tracked him. He's still there. And now he's fixed his tracks and moving on. Unfortunately, he's very close to Mike now, so it's a good chance that Mike's going to get discovered any second. He's only one of 3 left alive on his team. There's 5 on the enemy team. He's been spotted, I think. He's almost loaded. There's a round from the enemy Striv. Fired into him. He fires a round at the 60 TP. Gets 306 hit points just before he dies to the Striv. Now, we never saw the Striv, but yep, he was somewhere in those woods. The 60 TP probably saw us and he got the kill shot. Now, our T95 is right up the other end of the battlefield. And, well, he's near the enemy cap, but there's not a lot he can do. That's a very, very slow assault tank. It's, well, assault TD. I really don't know what that guy's going to do. If he tries to drive all the way back to his own cap, which he may have to do if this lot starts capping, then it's going to take him forever. And the direct route will be directly through the village. And he will be spotted as he does that. Looks to me like the enemy T95 on the west side of the map was headed north. Whilst our 60 TP, well, he's still on the south side of the map. I think he'll probably head for the cap. Yes, he has, yes. Either that or it's the Striv 103. More likely the Striv 103B has actually gone back to their cap. They've got 2 in the cap, so they want to finish the game. They're not bothered. Some of the people are complaining the T95 didn't do anything. Oh, and the T95 got wiped out by our T95, so, or their T95 killed ours. So that's the end of the game. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And, well, this is a turn up for the books. Even though it's a defeat, Mike managed to get his first mark of excellence during that game, and that's the reason why is he did a huge amount of damage. He got a bruiser medal during that game as well. 13 critical hits during that game he got. He only needed 5 to get the bruiser, but no classification, no epic medals other than those awards. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see he did get the highest damage on his team. He got 3,456 hit points of damage, but he was beaten by the UDES 16 on the enemy team and their 60 TP Lewandowski go, who got 4,459. When it came to kills, well, the highest score on our team was an M53, M55. He got 2 kills. Mike only got the 1. That T49, Jar Jar Binks, who just drove straight through the field of fire and took the shell for that 60 TP. Rather happy accident there. Lightly armoured light wheeled vehicle, or light tank, takes the shell for his brother. The high scorers on the enemy team was the 60 TP, the Striv 103B, and the T95 all got 3 kills apiece. And when it came to base XP, it was the 60 TP again with 994, the UDES 16 was 989, and their M53, M55 managed to get 788. The highest that our team managed to get was Mike. He got 518 base experience points off that game. He fired 10 rounds, got 6 direct hits, 1 penetration, that must have been the T49, 10 splash, damage of 3,456 hit points, of which 2,814 was at more than 300 meters. So the difference is those close range shots on the 60 TP, which were fairly close. 2 hits received from the enemy, both of them was from the Striv, and they were both penetrations. He damaged 6 of the enemy, killed 1, and did 303 hit points of damage assistance and 1,113 hit points of stun assist off 10 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 30,531 credits from the game, and after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, he actually took away a loss of 7,150 credits. But I don't think he'll mind about that, because he did have premium consumables to beef up his performance, and that performance has actually given him his first mark. He received 518 XP and got 777 from personal reserves, so he took away 1,554 altogether. So he actually says, killed Jar Jar Binks. Actually, it was Jar Jar Binks, but he was killed by Johnny Thunder. Yes, some very unusual names on the American server, I must admit, yes. Well, if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button so you get alerted when a new video comes out. There might be something you'd be wanting to see. Thanks for watching.